Hello, welcome to Torahscope, formerly known as Journeys with Joseph. Yep, that was short-lived. Well, this week we have Parashat Lech, Genesis 12 through 17, which is jam-packed. Most of the portions are absolutely jam-packed. But this one is huge. I mean, you got Genesis 12. God calls Abram in the famous passage in Genesis 12:3. I'll bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you, and through you all the families of the world will be blessed. Hugely powerful, wonderful. Then you have 13, 14 with Lot and with the battle, 4 kings against 5, and that's really interesting. And Melchizedek, and who is he, and Abram's, not taking anything from the king. He's doesn't want any of the victory, any of the spoils to be credited to anyone but Adonai. And then in Genesis 15, huge faith credited to Abram as righteousness. In Genesis 15:6, this is awesome passage. I love it. And the Apostle Paul, Rav Shaul, he does an exegesis of this in Romans 4. It's pretty good. I mean, it was canonized after all, so probably one of the best exegetes, one of the best exegetical commentaries. In Hebrew, we just call it a drash. One of the best drashes on Genesis 15, and just huge implications there about Abraham being justified by God, the Adonai, the one who justifies the unrighteous, being justified by faith in uncircumcision, and then that faith was sealed through circumcision. So both for Jews and for Gentiles, Abraham is the father of all of them. And then you go into Genesis 16. What happens in Genesis 16? All right. Well, Genesis 17 is circumcision. And that is gigantic. This is the sign of the covenant. This is, the marker of Jewish identity. It comes here in Genesis 17, and it's just absolutely so important. Often gets overshadowed, overlooked, but this is the covenant seal. This is the mark, the sign of the covenant, and so many future implications in the Torah with, if the male isn't circumcised, they can't keep Passover and they're cut off from Israel. It's a big deal. So many huge things. Couple things I'm thinking of as this time of my life as I've been processing. Something I never noticed before. So Genesis 6, Noah, the flood comes because the people of the world are evil and they're disunified in this evil. They're violent, they're killing each other. It's just murder and mayhem. It's like a GTA video game, but on the whole world, just total mayhem. And it was this evil that was disunified. And then in Genesis 11, right before this portion, there's the Tower of Babel, which is actually evil, but it's unified evil. And it's idolatry. It's the raising up of self, right? So I never noticed it was, there's this cataclysmic event that comes from a disunified evil, and then there's this, I don't know if cataclysmic is the right word for the Tower of Babel, but pretty massive event. The dispersion of peoples and creation of new languages was this evil, but it was unified. So I thought that was interesting. And then I was thinking about perfectionism. I don't know if anyone out there is perfectionistic. I've been perfectionistic in my life. Something that I've come to realize I've put on a lot of people, and particularly I've noticed with my kids, I spend a lot of time with them, and I noticed that I correct them a lot, way too much. something I noticed in the past couple of years, but hadn't connected it to perfectionism. And so as I've been trying not to do that as much, I hadn't been really attacking the source or really aware of the source. So something I was looking at Abram, and he wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. He went to Pharaoh and lied twice about Sarai being his sister, even though she actually was, which is weird. I don't know if you guys know this. Abram and Sarai are actually their half brother, half sister. You know, it was a little more common back then, but so it wasn't a full lie, but it was a lie of omission. It was deceptive. So he wasn't perfect, and that, was not a good thing. And, he wasn't perfect. So, it just made me realize something I know is true. God doesn't want perfect people. He's not expecting perfection. God is not expecting perfection from you, from me, from anyone. And so we shouldn't expect perfection from ourselves, and we shouldn't expect perfection from other people, because God isn't. So that's just something I think is good. It's as I'm kind of realizing the perfectionism, I'm kind of pushing away and leaning in towards contentedness and being grateful, which I know gratefulness is super important. This wisdom of the sages, the rabbis, says that ingratitude or ungratefulness is the seed of idolatry. So ingratitude is the seed of idolatry, or you could say ungratefulness is the seed of idolatry. And I hadn't really connected perfectionism and ungratefulness, or perfectionism on one side and then gratefulness on the other. And I felt a contentedness from the Lord today in where I am, and that I don't have to arrive, somewhere to be successful, or to be closer to Him, or to be close enough to Him, or so that's kind of where I've been at this past week or two. And hopefully this is edifying and helpful to you. Thanks for tuning in, and blessings. Have a great week, and Shabbat Shalom.